Yeah, Extreme Rules is this weekend. Are you gonna watch it?
Are you gonna show it here?
Of course. We always show everything here. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Wrestling Guy Podcast. I'm back. I was absent last week.
Why would you leave me?
I'm sorry. I left you in good hands, though. I left you with Oscar.
Yeah, he was all handsy, though, man.
I'm sorry. Don't worry, I'm back, though. I'll take care of you today.
Thank you, Poppy.
Yes, today we have a very special guest, but, I'm kind of happy we don't have this Butcher, Roy anymore.
Oh, yeah, well, Butcher,
Especially
you
Butcher.
You speak too soon again. Unbelievable. Just when you thought you could get rid of me, but you can't. Roy, where are you at, buddy? I'm back, Roy.
I thought we took over this thing,
man.
Ah.
No. So far, the place been tanking. You were gone last week. I mean, he did a tremendous job, but I don't know if he was drunk or sober.
That's the mystery.
That's the mystery.
That's the mystery.
So what are we in? Do we need a little red face period with you?
Maybe.
Vodka? I think it's vodka. Anyways,
I'm going to let you back in, but who the hell allowed the engineer back?
I did. Wherever I go, he goes.
Damn.
I'm sorry. It's part of the contract. Remember that.
And he is wearing a Thunder Rosa shirt.
Oh, so you guys were in cahoots about this then. By the way, I'm wearing a brand new right here from Justin.
Fuck you, Justin. Fuck you, Justin. Wait, how come it's backwards?
Yeah, Justin, fuck you. But even though I still love you.
Why is it putting it backwards?
I don't know.
What?
Because it's in the reverse
It's
mode.
like a mirror.
It's like a mirror. You see? You should have. I told you. This is why he got fired.
No, we didn't. Besides, you cleaned your video screen because it had a lot of sticky stuff on it. What's up with that?
Don't worry about that. I need to make some extra cash on the side. Sales are slow right now.
Well.
He pays $5.99 a minute.
Oh.
Well, it's cheaper than the WWE network. Probably better content too.
Much better content. Takes up the whole screen. Well, we have a very special guest today.
Thank you.
I could. I want to feel special sometimes too, But
much better than you guys.
It feels great to be back.
Yeah, they're horrible. I'm talking about our guest.
You know you miss me,
Oh yes. I had to deal with you. I had to deal with you on Saturday because of your lawsuit.
Well, look, I'm sorry, but guess what? I did hire a good lawyer.
Oh man, who?
Larry H. Parker.
Larry H. Parker.
Yes.
That's a coincidence because our guest is named Larry Park.
Larry Park?
Yeah.
Well, let's see him. Come on down.
Come on out, Mr. Larry Park.
There it is. I love it. He looks like Don Johnson. I love the jacket. Right on. Larry, my man, where have you been?
Oh, I've been out of the business for a couple of years. I had some personal business I had to take care of.
Okay, why don't you go a little closer so we can see yourself right there?
Absolutely.
Tell hi to your fans, family,
Hi guys,
friends.
it's been a while. Good to see you.
Well, you know what? It's your spotlight.
All right.
We're all going to have a good time here.
Sounds good.
So if anything gets out of hand, remember, it's under Davis,
Oh, is that
responsibility.
right? And this is a great store, by the way. I like this place.
Thank you.
And it's a great podcast. I'm glad.
Thank you.
When I started in 1999, there was nothing like this.
No.
I wish there was.
I wish there was. Well, you know what? I take that back because it was a little different. It was Dynamite D.
That's correct.
Remember
yes.
Dynamite D cable?
Yes.
What's that?
The cable radio network?
Exactly.
Yes.
And from there on, I mean, I think he had all of us, that.
And God bless his soul because.
Actually, I say he's the foundation broker.
Absolutely.
Of radio talk wrestling.
And talk wrestling. He was
because it went into that.
He was a great worker
prior to that.
That's out. Anyways, so you've been gone for a while, but let's get to the nitty gritty first.
Sure.
When did it all start for you? I mean, I know you're a big Bobby Heenan fan.
That I am.
And
yes.
I remember about 4 or 5 years ago, I think we would have bumped into you because we went to go see him.
Yes.
Frank says, but you were there earlier.
I was there earlier.
So what was that like for you?
Oh, it was awesome. I've idolized Bobby Heenan since I was young. Guy was funny. Did you ever watch a Bobby Heenan show on the USA Network?
Yeah. Especially when he had his own show. And
it used to come on after primetime, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had the three oinkets, and he had Jameson.
That was my favorite one of all right there.
And that show's still funny. I have videos of that. It's still funny.
Thunder Rosa fans are lost right now. They're like, what?
No, I know.
Ed knows his stuff here.
I'm too young. I was too young.
Yeah,
don't let the gray hair spoil you. I mean, he's been around since the Gorgeous George days.
I had my wrestling brothers and cousins. They had to make me watch all the old stuff in order for me to get to watch Raw and all that.
I have to say in Mexico, a huevo, right?
A huevo.
But let me talk about Bobby Heenan. I mean, despite his disability now, it was still an honor to meet him. Yeah. That was one of the few times I actually kind of marked out for for any
Oh, I
wrestling
did too.
person.
I mean, it was just me and my daughter, and he was already done signing,
Yes,
but they were nice enough to let me go in the back and still meet the guy and his wife.
that's awesome. Yeah.
And
Who'd
it was cool.
Who'd you blow?
Who'd I blow? I didn't blow no one. I think the one-man gang was back there.
Ah,
That's the wrong guy to blow.
I know. No kidding. Sorry, George.
So you met Bobby the Brain Heenan, but what made you get into?
Well,
wrestling?
1999. This is when I first started. I graduated college in 1997. I did some cable broadcast, cable reporting at the time, local cable, and I met some guys who wanted to start something called the Independent Wrestling Network. And I was a fan of not only mainstream wrestling but independent wrestling as well. Because this was a dream of mine that I never thought was going to come true. So I went along with these guys. We first started with Bill Anderson.
Yeah, that's good. Cool.
All right.
I just want to look prettier.
We first started doing one of Bill Anderson's shows. He used to run weekly shows in Riverside. He used to run the International Wrestling, IWC, International Wrestling Council. We did one of his shows, and that's where I personally made a lot of contacts. The independent, we did 2 of Bill's shows, and the Independent Wrestling Network that show never happened, unfortunately.
And what was it supposed to be, like a cable show?
It was supposed to be like a cable show, cable report, showcasing independent shows. They did UIWA and a few other shows.
Oh.
UIWA back then was run by a guy named Doc Marley.
Oh, okay.
Back then.
So probably something similar to SoCal Uncensored now, probably.
Yeah, except this was going to be on
Visual,
TV.
yeah. Right.
This was
Okay.
going to be on TV. But that's how I first met Logan Xavier, Logan X from Millennium Pro Wrestling.
Mhm.
This was back in San Bernardino when they did their big show in San Bernardino High School. It was him and, at the time, his name was Rage. I think he goes by a different gimmick name now. They went up against Cincinnati Red and another kid by the
May
name
rest
of
his peace.
Maybe
Yes,
that's-
absolutely. One of my best friends in this business, and the Skate Devil, who I don't think is in the business anymore. It was a tables match, and people forget how good Cincinnati Red was. He was, in my opinion, one of the best wrestlers ever. Why he never made it past the indie level or even Japan is still boggles my mind. But back to what I was talking about, it was a tables match. I remember what Cincinnati Red did. This was an innovative move. He picked up Logan like he was going to power slam him. So just the visual right here. So he's right here on the second rope. While carrying Logan, he does a moonsault.
What the hell?
He did that. He did do that.
And that was back what?
That was in 2000.
That was back in 2000, and that move wasn't even.
No.
Wasn't
The only other guy I've seen do that is Pac. Well, now Adrian Neville,
Uh-huh.
back in Dragon Gate USA a few years ago. He did that to the Dragon Kid. Dragon Kid's a small guy, so you could do that to him.
Mhm.
But yeah, I've never seen anyone else do that before.
I seen Jeff Cobb do it. Well, it was more like a power slam. Like,
Oh,
It
right.
looked really clean.
I mean, now with today's wrestling, with lucha, and even here in America, I mean, now you start to see more acrobatic backflips and
Absolutely,
more
yes.
suicidal stuff. And it's
Yes.
just like, I don't got the balls to do any of that, to be honest with you.
I'm not against that. I'm not against high spots. I like watching them just as much as anybody else. My issue with the boy is be careful.
Mhm.
There was a spot I saw recently where a guy, I think he was trying to do a 630, and he landed straight on his neck.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah, I
right?
saw that one.
That horrified me.
No,
I shared it and
Oh.
laughed at it.
Of
Yeah.
course you did.
Well, I saw back in one of EWF shows, Jesse Hernandez's shows. I think this guy's, I forget what's his name, Johnny Dynamite, I think his name is. I think he's in the military now. Him doing a moonsault, I saw him land on his head. I've seen a lot of high-risk stuff where it went wrong
Oh yeah,
over the years. And I'm not against it. I just want people to be careful.
for sure.
Yeah.
So after Anderson, what happened next?
Well, Logan X wanted to start Millennium Pro Wrestling because at the time, this was 1999, between 1999 and 2001, there was a lot of politics. There was a lot of indie feds, but there was a lot of backstage politics. I mean, it still happens today. I mean, you'll never get away from that. So he wanted to, what do guys do when they're sick of backstage politics? They start their own organization.
Yeah.
So Logan, along with a guy named Adrian Montez, who I believe worked for the RF Video Store at the time, and Barry Cohen, they put their money together and they started MPW.
Right.
MPW was the precursor to PWG. I almost forgot the name. PWG. We wanted to give fans what they wanted. So the very first show, now I'm going to go back sometime. You guys know who Scrap Iron Adam Pierce is, I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay, in my opinion, one of the best workers ever.
Good in the mic, good in the mat.
He's
absolutely
great at everything.
He's great. He's great.
Now he's working for WWE.
Now he's working for WWE, and he's got a lot of knowledge to instill on these young guys. It was a triple threat match, which is still online, and I did commentary, and that's I did commentary along with a guy named Zeus Rip, who's also, may he rest in peace as well. It was a triple threat match with Scrap Iron Adam Pierce, Frankie Kazarian, and Chris Daniels for the MPW title. Originally, it was actually supposed to be. We're going to go back a little time. It was supposed to be John Cena. We're supposed to have John Cena on the show. His promoter, Rick Bassman, pulled him from the show.
Oh my goodness.
That's the kind of stuff that happened back then. And then Psychosis was also supposed to be on the show, but he no-showed. I don't know what happened. I still wish I knew what happened.
Probably somewhere getting high or drunk.
Probably.
Or getting tacos.
Yeah.
12 of them.
12
of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it ended up, we did a triple threat match, three-way dance, which to me is the best match I've ever called live. And it's still one of the top matches in SoCal history, in my opinion.
I gotta check that one out.
Yeah,
That sounds like a good one.
it was a great match. Frankie Kazarian ended up winning the belt. Frankie Kazarian, who's now part of the Addiction with Chris Daniels, now they're a team in ROH. Frankie, unfortunately, had to drop the belt in the next show, not even defending it because of his promoter, Rick Bassman, who wouldn't let him do the show. And those are the kinds of things that kind of would discourage you at the time. He was, we had little Guido Maritato on the show. You guys remember him from ECW? Yeah. Yeah. He was so Guido ended up forfeiting the belt to Guido, and Cincinnati Red ended up winning that title that night. So there's a lot of.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
With MPW, since you were there since pretty much when it started.
Yes.
How many big names came out of that
Oh
organization?
my goodness.
If you can name from past, even if they're deceased, to now.
Sure.
If
absolutely.
you could give us and in alphabetical order.
Oh, that's gonna be tough. But Adam Pierce, obviously.
Right.
Now he's working for WWE. Chris Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, now the Addiction. Funny. That's talking about Guido. He became a referee in WWE. Yeah, but he also wrestled in WWE.
Yeah, he was WWE and the relaunch ECW, right?
Yeah.
And SmackDown.
Yeah, before prior.
We also had guys like Chris Candido came through MPW. Ricky Reyes, who's now part of Lucha Underground. Back then, he was partners with Rocky Romero. They were known as the Los Cubanitos at the time.
What's his name in Lucha Underground? Ricky Reyes.
Cortez
Castro. That's right. Ricky Reyes is great. He's a machine. He's an absolute machine.
So is Rocky Romero, right?
Yeah, they're both machines. I'm proud of both those guys. I've known them since they were 18.
Not just that, but these guys are, I mean, I don't know their age, but I would say they're probably like in their mid-30s or something, and they're still like freaking teenagers.
Absolutely.
They can still go.
Oh, yeah, they still go.
Well, they started when they were young. Those guys started when they were young. Now, I have a story about those guys. We had our own tag team tournament, and there was a team at the time called the Beautiful People. I don't know if you remember those guys or not. They're about 6'3", 6'4" piece. Jason and Johnny Riggs. Actually, nice guys, but unfortunately they kind of had a bad name in the locker room. Which I still like them. It's common. It's common. They had their asses handed to them that night. I think I have that match somewhere. These guys about 6'3", 6'4" were getting beat up by guys that are 5'5", 5'6". But you didn't want to mess with the Cubans. Those guys were something else. They great tag team. I wish they were still around. That's one of my wishes. Ricky Reyes, I'm trying to Little Cholo, who's now Cisco.
Yeah.
He came through MPW.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
MPW
What was it based off?
Well, it was. What do you mean by? What do you mean?
Like their
Territory?
big part of their territory.
Oh, it was the Valley, West Valley.
West Valley?
West Valley, yeah.
Is there something cheap about the Valley film, having shows in the Valley?
Well, at the time, Barry Cohen, one of the owners, worked at the West Valley Jewish Community Center.
Oh, okay.
So he was able to get that for a pretty low
No,
price.
it had to be a freaking
Isn't he-
Ghostbuster. He knows what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Go ahead.
Isn't PWG based in the Valley too?
Library.
Yeah, I received
Yeah,
it.
they're based in Reseda. Who else came? Low Key. We had Low Key
that's right.
wrestle Super Dragon in one of the shows.
They
Super
had,
Dragon.
They had a lot of great talent.
B-Boy was a part of that, who's also in Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of guys. Spanky wrestled for us. There's actually a great match between Adam Pearce and Spanky. Well, now Brian Kendrick will use his real name.
Spanky, that's right. That was his name. I
Spanky.
forgot
That's
about.
right. Brad, yeah, because I remember seeing a couple of footage with Kendrick over there.
Yeah, yeah.
That was
And,
pretty awesome.
oh, he's great talent. Great talent.
When you saw these guys wrestling there and calling, because you were calling matches, did you think any of them would be as big as they are now? Like, for example, like Cholos, he's pretty much one of the most well-known wrestlers from SoCal.
Right.
Did you, or even like when you see them now on Lucha Underground, did you
With
think
some
like,
of these guys, Cholo and all these other guys, I knew they would make it. Some of the other guys, I figured were going to stay local.
Yeah.
And that there's nothing wrong with staying local. A lot of wrestlers stay local. But Cholo had it in him. The Ballards, I wish they were in the WWE. They're a great tag team themselves.
Yeah,
they
they're
wrestle
awesome
with
tag
us.
team.
Yeah, they
They
wrestle
still
with us
wrestle?
also.
Yeah, they still.
They still do it.
They still have their school,
Aren't they
right?
like
Injured
Yeah, they
and
still
all
injured.
over at UB.
Aren't they like
Yeah,
50?
UEW. Yeah.
Aren't they like 50?
Ah, you
Still-
wisecracker. You know what? They're 50. They
They
look
could still-
remarkable.
Yeah, they could
They look
still go. I
remarkable. They
saw
could
them
still
like at
bump.
least last year. They
Yeah.
still
Really?
go. Yeah.
Yeah. They'll probably be like middle.
Look, they-
Because you can
Look
see
at us.
you can see when a wrester is like winded, and you didn't see that in them.
Yeah, no, they're in good cardio shape, man.
No,
I can't-
Mascaras gets winded just going to the ring.
Yeah.
He has a person.
Now here's another funny story from MPW, which I still have video of Chris Masters.
Oh,
Now, he wasn't
my
wrestling
boy.
at the time. He wasn't wrestling. He was friends with a guy named Kerry Berghoff, who went by the name of Prodigy. And
Now,
he
was this back in EWF or still with Millennium?
no, still with Millennium.
Okay.
Chris was sitting in the front row, and I saw him, and I thought he was a wrestler. He wasn't training at the time. Big, muscular guy. But I said to myself then, I think he's going to become a wrestler soon, because he had the size, he had the look. Well, back then, he had long hair, really long hair. And then a year later or two, he started with UPW with Rick Bassman, and not too long after, he got signed by the WWE.
Yeah.
Another guy, John Cena, I talked about. I remember him when he first started. He was the prototype.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he had a great look, decent skills, and I thought he would be good. I thought he would make it. Did I think John Cena would be as big as he is today? I really didn't think so. I thought he'd just be another
Does it
wrestler.
kind of blow your mind now that
Absolutely.
you had a piece of history with these guys before he started,
Yeah,
and now
absolutely.
where they're at right now?
Absolutely, yeah. It's amazing to see how far they progressed.
Wow.
Yeah, like Joey Ryan. I helped Joey get his first match in MPW.
Okay, cool.
I did.
That's my one true love.
How do you feel? How do you feel about his whole thing now with the whole penis thing and all? I mean, we all understand comedy and stuff. But
Right.
What's your take on that?
I'm not necessarily against comedy. I'm a little old school, but I'm not so old school that I stick to the old ways.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. It is funny. Would it work in a national stage? I don't think so. And I've told Joey that. And but for the local scene, I think it's funny.
Japan loved it.
Well,
Yeah, Japan loved it. Yeah. What was that? DDT Pro Wrestling,
Yeah,
I believe
DDT,
it was.
yeah,
Yeah.
they love all that stuff.
Yeah, DDT is a strange organization anyway. That's not my cup of tea, but some things about it are
I think there's
funny.
like a little bit of everything. I mean, some people like hardcore,
Yeah.
or death matches, and some people like freak shows. You know,
Yeah,
that's another thing. So
Right.
I guess it's everybody's flavor.
Everyone's flavor. Would I have recommended him doing that? No. But it's Joey.
Yeah.
Joey does what he wants to do. And again, I helped him get his start in MPW. And after that start in MPW, he started getting a lot of bookings. He started getting bookings in the EWF, all over the place, out of the state. And I'm happy with what's happened with him, how far he's progressed. He does a lot of comedy stuff now, more than he did when he first started, but I'm still proud of him.
You know what? It's kind of funny because it's like you got guys like they've been almost 20 years they've been in this and you're still on. SoCal Crazy, Joey Ryan,
Mhm.
B-Boy. There was another one that came to my mind. Help me out if you guys. B-Boy. Did I say Cholo already?
You said no, you didn't say Cholo, but yeah,
Yeah,
Cholo's
Cholo's one
been
of them.
around for a while.
There's a couple of more that's that's been still active, still going. Of course,
And they're still breaking it too.
Joey.
Joey
Chaos.
Chaos, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, Joey. Yeah.
I think he's just teaching though, but I don't know if he's still.
Oh, he
active.
just came from a tour. He just did a whole tour.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah.
there's that. I mean, I haven't checked with him in a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Yeah,
surprised,
that's-
right?
Right. Yeah, another guy I saw start, Joey Chaos, good guy. No, to me, he was a good guy. But trying to think of who else went through MPW. Yeah, I mentioned Chris Candido, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he went up against Cincinnati Red.
What about Daniel Bryan?
Brian Danielson, yes. When I had met him, I didn't call any of his matches, but he started the New Japan Dojo when it was here. Dave Marquez
okay.
and Antonio Inoki started that. It didn't last too long, but a lot of guys went through there. Another guy, Samoa Joe, I saw him when he first started.
Jeez.
That was many years ago. He was young. He was like 17, 18.
Like, can you imagine back then if you would have had the cell phones, how much pictures and you would have been taken out?
You know who might have the pictures is Andy Durazo.
Andy.
Andy
Even
might have
pictures.
some pictures. He took a lot of pictures over the
He
years.
takes a lot of my pictures. So.
Oh goodness! Oh yes, is that why your hair is always all slick? Huh?
Always.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, this guy's all pampered.
But yeah, Samoa Joe, when he was trained by Cincinnati Red, as a matter of fact.
Hmm.
Yeah. Now Samoa Joe was a guy. I got stories about him too. He wrestled in UPW. He wrestled for us. Then he made it to what's that organization in Japan? 01 Pro Wrestling.
Mhm.
That's where he really kind of blew up. And then when
Yeah, because from Zero he went to ROH. and then from
yes,
ROH
that's
to
correct,
Gen X.
and that's where now look where he is now.
Yeah.
And another guy I'm very
NXT
proud of.
champ.
Let's talk with the women now.
Sure.
What about with the women? How many women did you slept with?
I mean,
That was a joke.
yeah. In this business.
In this
I
business,
can't
that,
say.
He was thinking
And-
alphabetical order.
Oh,
Yeah.
By flavors?
How any of the like divas or anything that you like?
You know, we didn't have back then. We didn't have a lot of women's wrestling.
Now it's like
Now we see it, and I'm glad to see that.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of women's wrestling in the '80s when Moolah, Wendy Richter, Rockin' Robin wrestled.
I think
I
Wrestling Glow as well, right? Glow Wrestling.
Glow, yeah,
Yeah.
Glow.
Not literally.
Oh, come on, Glow.
Yeah.
But
For him, that's just like that's like great grandma's.
oh, is that right?
No, but still, like, even when you see, like, the rap and everything, I was like,
Oh my
how
goodness.
could you watch that?
You used to watch WrestleLicious too, I bet.
Oh, WrestleLicious, Jimmy Hart's organization, right?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was complete, Jimmy. That was so funny.
But yeah, no, I'm happy to see women's wrestling blow up, and I actually like watching that more now
Yeah.
than I do men's wrestling.
Because it's not a side attraction no more. It's
It's
actual
not
wrestling.
actually
Yeah.
absolutely.
Especially like in Lucha Underground, they treat them the same as the men. which is
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, because you don't see that much like between the Underground and WWE. WWE, I mean, among wrestlers, yeah, but like if you have like let's say Katrina, she gets herself involved in the matches and getting slammed and stuff like that.
Right.
It's like getting hit by a regular.
I saw
dude.
that No Mas match between Sexy Star and
She did it.
Mariposa.
that was a vicious match.
Now, were you there for that one?
Yeah.
was that?
Much better on TV than live.
Was it really?
Yeah, Sexy Star sucks.
Oh,
Oh.
dude! Oh, here we go again.
I mean, Sexy Star is okay.
Okay, there you go. He's at it again.
I mean,
You know what? Everyone's got their preference on
Yeah,
wrestlers and stuff
exactly.
like that. And
Yeah, but Julie Melissa, I mean, she's a great wrestler. I've seen
Yeah.
her for so many years.
oh my goodness.
But
Jeez.
back to Dan. Let me talk about Daniel Bryan again. For a
Oh, how do we
moment.
lose sidetrack there?
Yeah,
My
yeah.
apologies.
Well, no, it's all right. It's all right. He was there with the Cubans, with Samoa Joe, T.J. Perkins, another guy I saw since he was 15.
He's going to be in that Cruiserweight Championship.
Yeah, and another guy
WWE.
I'm very, very, very proud of.
Did you expect him to be as big as he became?
T.J. No, I did not.
Daniel.
Daniel, I always thought would be kind of an indie guy,
Right.
like a big name indie guy. Did I ever think that he'd be world champion? No, that
And
never
not that
crossed my
many
mind.
Followers as he does.
Yes, which shows the power of indie wrestling.
Well, I remember when I used to watch him, I used to buy all his DVDs and all that stuff. And I remember I used to go see Marquez's NWA Showcase just to go see him.
Yeah.
So I was a big Daniel Bryan fan.
Yeah. Well, he started off the same time as Brian Kendrick. They were both trained by Shawn Michaels. I think they're both from Washington State, as a matter of fact. So I think they traveled together. And I've seen a lot of their matches. Those are some classic matches.
No, I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm very proud of what he's accomplished. You know, the reason why he and I connected, I'm a big fan of the old school British wrestling. I'm a big Johnny Saint fan.
All right.
He likes Johnny Saint as well. He grew up idolizing Johnny Saint, and he actually emulated Johnny Saint a little bit. I noticed in some of his matches he did some of the things that Johnny Saint did in his matches. And Johnny Saint, he's one of the trainers at the WWE Performance Center now, or I guess a guest trainer. And I think that's great because they could learn a lot from a guy like Johnny Saint.
You know, there's just so many, great names, and like for example, you mentioned Johnny Saint, but then there's other guys that from other organizations that train so well. For example, let's say EWF. Okay, you have Jesse Hernandez School,
right?
And I think they completed what 20 years.
20 years.
Did you go to that one?
Yeah, I went to that one.
How was that? Okay, say no more. I mean, just
give your honest opinion.
It's a family show. It's a family show.
I mean, I've never been to one.
Very
very
gimmicky. I mean, the Scorpio Sky match was pretty good with Frank. Actually,
Frank Kazarian. Yeah.
It was actually a good match. Also, the championship match, Andy Brown versus the Man in Black, which is I don't know if I should say his name, but because it's kayfabe. But yeah, it's a family show. But they do train a lot of people. A lot of good people come out of there. So.
Yeah, they have. They've trained Melina Perez, Jesus Rodriguez, Chimera.
Right. I think he's back already now.
Is he back now?
No, he's
good
back.
They was training people in India. That's crazy.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think he was with Kali, right?
Yeah, Kali's school. That's correct. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, speaking of India, did you see LA Times? I posted up on Facebook. There was like an article about these Indian wrestlers.
I haven't seen
They
it.
did the mud. I don't know if you ever watched it, but I checked it out. I mean, they're pretty brute. They're trained because all of it. I mean, it kind of look like sumo, like wearing Pampers, but they wrestle in mud. And it's pretty cheesy, but it's at the same time, but it's a lot of strength, brute. It's all in but brute. They sleep underground.
Right.
They eat together.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing compared. I mean, we're a little spoiled here, to be honest with you, but it's nothing compared to what
12 tacos.
It's compared to 12 tacos. Yeah, exactly.
But Jesse and Bill, when they were together, they trained a lot of guys. They trained Tom Howard, Cincinnati Red.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jesse and Bill. I don't know if you know this, but when I was a kid, when I used to go to the LA Sports Arena, Bill Anderson was the ring announcer, and Jesse Hernandez was the referee.
That's
and
correct.
then they will come out on movies as well.
Yeah.
Body Slam was one of them. They both worked together.
I remember that. Yeah. Bill Anderson, I still talk to on occasion. Jesse, I haven't talked to him in a while. Last time I saw him was at Red's funeral.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad to see that he's still going and he's still training wrestlers. I think one of the best wrestlers he's trained is Ryan Taylor.
Yeah.
And
Ryan's been around for a long time.
Yeah, Ryan's been around for a while. Why he's not signed is amazing.
I'm like, geez, there's like so many people that you could think of that's like, come, not yet,
Yeah.
But,
I guess. And then the Haystacks brothers, another one of my favorite tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
I used to drive those guys. Oh my goodness! Wow.
How was that with you going on the road with some of these guys? I mean,
well, I used to take the MPW shows. I used to take Cincinnati Red and the Haystacks. Those are big. Those are some big gentlemen.
What kind of car did you have?
I had an SUV, and that lowered. It was like a lowrider car. That was kind of funny, but they were great guys to work, travel with. They were. I learned a lot from those guys.
When you travel with the wrestler, it's pretty crazy and fun. I'll give you that. And I know David already got a taste of that, and I'm sure he had a good experience doing his own traveling.
Oh yeah, I got to travel with Mariachi and Thunder Rosa. That was fun.
And you had somebody else in the car.
And Douglas James. But he was so tired, he fell asleep on me. He fell asleep on the way over there and on the way back.
Wow.
He was only working. He had done a show in San Diego Friday night.
Oh wow.
Got home went from San Diego back to the Valley.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess he got home about 3 in the morning.
Jeez.
And then had to be at my house by 7 in the morning. So I guess he only got 3 hours sleep.
Wow.
And got to my house at 7, and then we had to pick up Mariachi and Thunder and then drive to Arizona. He did the show. Then we had to come back right away. So
And you got home at what? 2, 3?
We got home at 2 in the morning. He had to go to work. By the time he drove from my house back to the Valley, probably got home at 3:30 and had to be awake by 6 to go to work.
Yeah.
So that's dedication.
No, traveling was fun.
I want to say, what's your take with professional wrestling where it's going now? And since
Yeah.
how things have changed and where it's at.
Well, some things I like, some things I don't.
How about
Now-
the don't? What don't you like?
What I don't like is, okay,
This
there's a
guy.
couple things. No, I know.
He's that controversial guy.
That's all right. That's all
It's
right.
all right.
One thing I don't like is, I mean, the lack of managers. Do you still
Have you
have
noticed
some?
that, David? And you know that Larry Park turns his face on this side so that we can.
I'm just like, I'm trying.
The lack of managers.
Yeah.
Lack of managers. I mean, yeah, Paul Heyman managing Brock Lesnar, obviously, but I'm not saying we should have a whole bunch of managers like we did in the '80s, but we should still have some mouthpieces. I think because
There's a lot of wrestlers that need mouthpieces.
yeah, because a lot of them. I'll give you an example. The Revival on NXT, great tag team. I love watching those guys. I think they're missing that one thing. If they had a manager, I think they'd be even better. I'd buy into them more. Not that I don't buy into them now, but I buy into them a little more. Some things I don't like are these feuds don't last more than a pay-per-view, a couple months. Now this I'm going to date myself, but I don't know if you remember Tommy Rich, Buzz Sawyer.
Mhm.
They had a 2-year feud. Now that may have been a little bit long, but that feud made sense.
Well, Hogan and Andre had what, a 3 WrestleMania feud?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
2 or 3 WrestleMania feuds?
Some of these feuds and too many pay-per-views is what I don't like. Now I have the WWE Network like a lot of guys do, so I get to watch it for free. But there are way too many pay-per-views. I think if they limit to maybe 5 or 6 instead of 12, I think
Is it 12 now or 13?
maybe 13.
Maybe 13 now because they do
Is it
2
like
in
every
May,
3
right?
weeks, right?
Yeah.
Well, shoot, I remember my
I remember when it was
cable
just
bill
2.
would get expensive when it was the competitions with WWF with WCW.
Right.
Because I was like, okay, I'll get SummerSlam, then I'll get Halloween Havoc, and then Halloween Havoc, Survivor Series, Survivor Series, and Starrcade, Royal Rumble. You know,
Right.
it just goes on and on back. I'm like, yeah, my cable bill at the time was getting more and more expensive. And, it's
And
just
it was,
You
yeah.
should just watched it here.
No, we're talking about back in the day.
Back then. And I understood it back then. I understood it because there was a lot of competition between WCW and WWE. I get that. I don't get it now. It's just like it's killing UFC too. Too many pay-per-views in UFC. It's killing them.
Mm.
I think it'll ultimately, if they continue that trend, it will kill them. I think because there's some because I was reading the numbers, the buy rates. I'm just going to go back to UFC. Some fights, okay, with bigger names have bigger buy rates, and then some other fights don't. I think it's the same thing with WWE. Some WrestleMania is obviously going to have the highest buy rate, obviously.
Yeah.
And so is SummerSlam because those are the bigger pay-per-views. But some of these other ones, the buy rate is bad. I mean, why do you keep them? I don't get it. Just like
payback.
yeah,
Doesn't make
exactly.
sense.
Like Money in the Bank, they should have just kept that in WrestleMania. The match at
Yeah.
WrestleMania. I don't understand why they turned that into a pay-per-view.
Hell in Cells, another good one.
Exactly. So too many pay-per-views is what's killing wrestling, and you got to give fans what they want.
Do you think also like when you watch Raw, like when they have their long promos in the ring when it starts, you know, sometimes it has to close to 15 to 20 minutes. Do you
Yes.
think that's another big drag?
Oh, there's no need for that.
Just
There's
watch
no-
New Japan, and you get good wrestling.
And you get good wrestling, or you get
Or NXT.
NXT. See, they have it right with NXT.
that formula.
The formula is good. You got the way I look at it is this: it's old school booking with the new flavor of wrestling, and that's actually my favorite show to watch is NXT.
Mhm.
As far as American wrestling
How
goes,
about Lucha Underground?
I love Lucha Under. You know what? I just started watching it the second season. I call it Lucha Libre on steroids because you know it's what I see is amazing. Prince Puma, you know, he's an amazing talent.
We were here last week too.
Was he? Oh,
Yeah.
great. Yeah, it's definitely a different feeling. Jim Cornette called it. I remember Jim Cornette called it.
Good old Jim, man. He's
you know,
like everywhere.
You know what? But Jim's got a
He has a
slight
lot of
point.
good points. Though.
He's got a slight point. I mean, some of the vignettes go a little longer, a little too dramatic for me, but the wrestling more makes it up for me. I'm not like one of these old school guys that says, "Oh, we should go all the way back to the old school." I'm not Ole Anderson. I won't say that. But there's still some things we should listen to the old school guys. We should maybe get a feel of what they're thinking. But we should mix it up as well. We can't go back all the way to the old school. And not all the new ways are bad. Some of it is, some of it isn't.
Right.
But I think wrestling can improve. I still have hope for it, which is why I still watch it. One of the things they need to do, Roman Reigns is a good talent. Don't get me wrong. The fans aren't buying into him, and I hate to say it, but they.
You just broke his heart. That's his favorite wrestler.
Sorry.
Maybe he needs a manager in office.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
Really does.
He does. Yeah.
He is getting a little better on the mic.
He is.
But
They got to see, and that's the other thing.
Much.
One of my
His
friends.
NXT version was alright.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad.
One of my friends and I were actually talking about it. You got to let guys be themselves.
Yeah.
You can't just give them.
A stock character.
You can't give them. Yeah.
Well, I think that's what helped The Rock. When you see The Rock and Stone Cold,
Yeah.
is when they and Triple H even when they came out and just were reading scripts, they weren't believable. And then once The Rock was able to cut his own promo,
Absolutely.
Austin was able to do his thing, and Triple H was able to do his thing, and even Undertaker, you could tell like he was able to stay in character and still do the rest in peace and but he still did it where it was him and he believed what he was saying, which I think that's what the problem is with Roman Reigns. I think AJ Styles though is less scripted.
Yeah.
Because he's really
Yeah. It's natural.
phenomenal.
Oh, he is. There's no doubt about that. But that's the other thing. One of the things I don't like about is the writers.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying we should go back to the old ways of.
Let them wing it.
Well, not just let them wing it, but have one booker do everything.
Right.
Those days don't exist. We don't live in territorial days anymore. But I still think that you script everything. It's just not as natural.
Mm-hmm.
I've known with Roman Reigns, a lot of the things he says are just it's scripted to me. It is, and I kind of have a problem with that. Roddy Piper, God rest his soul,
Roddy Piper.
had said the same thing. He wasn't a big fan of the writers. I'm not against the writers. I just wish they'd have people that understood this business a little bit better.
Yeah.
I don't think they do.
Let me ask you now, as far as that's in the professional wrestling. What don't you like? Do you keep up with the SoCal indie scene now?
Yeah, not as much as I used to, but yeah.
And now, when you see things, is there anything that you don't like right now that you've seen change from when you started?
Well, there are quite a few things. They're trying to be. See, the local feeling isn't there anymore. Well, PWG is a different story because they're a big organization now. I'm happy for them. I'm happy with how they've blown up. I have actually a story about that. Scott Loss, I don't know if you guys remember him. Scott Loss had actually called me. At the time, I didn't know it was PWG, and I had kind of stepped out of the business for a little bit. This was 2001, 2002. Asked me if I wanted to do play-by-play. At the time with my job, I wasn't able to. That's one of my regrets, is saying no to Scott Loss. But at the time, I just wasn't able to do it. And I'm happy for them. But some of the things I don't – this is backstage stuff, but I'll talk about it anyway. I don't like some of the disrespect that I've seen. The old days, there was a way of doing things. There's etiquette that I don't think a lot of people backstage follow anymore. And
Do you think this is why there's not etiquette? It's out of control now.
I think so. I mean, there was when MPW made their return. You were a part of that show. Yeah. So, I mean,
how bad was he?
The show was good.
No, how bad was he?
I knew you was going with that.
Yeah, let's go with that. The truth.
Yeah.
Well, no, he was in the Battle Royal. I remember.
You get a kick out of that. This is part of the gimmick.
Right.
There we go. Say it.
Oh, he chopped him good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Say I haven't lost my touch on that.
No, you sure haven't.
I missed it. Can you do it again?
Yeah.
Replay.
No,
He must have been great because
but there was a
Royal Rumble record holder.
Like I said, it's happened over the years. There's a lot of drinking. There's a lot of other activities. But the problem is they leave a mess. And to me, that's totally unacceptable. If you're going to leave the mess, at least clean up after yourself. I don't like that.
I was one of the guys that would take my own chest and I would share it. And
Right.
my son's right there. He could testify for that. I would take my imported beer,
Uh-huh.
tons of water and soda,
Uh-huh.
and I
Is
was
this true?
and,
He's saying you're lying.
Sure, it
and,
was
and,
true.
and,
Says you're lying.
and I was Roddy Piper's little bartender. But what was cool is that I made my announcement because one time it was trashed up, but the next time we had a show, I told the guys, please do me the favor, pick up your mess, just for courtesy. And I get what you're talking about right there.
So some of that I don't like. I hope that there's hope for me that will change. I'm hoping it'll change. And part of it is the way some people were trained,
Mhm.
because I'm not going to name names of some of the trainers, but well, no, I'll go ahead and do it. You remember Rev Pro Wrestling back in the day? Yeah, they weren't great talent. Those guys are great talented guys. Unfortunately, I don't believe they were trained in the ways of etiquette, because one of the things you do once you come in the locker room, you're supposed to shake hands with everybody. Those guys never did it, and thus they developed such a bad name for themselves. Some of it was true and some of it wasn't. I actually like some of those guys, and I talked to a couple of those guys about it, and then they learned. But they weren't taught that way. If we have people training people better in terms of etiquette, in terms of in-ring wrestling, I think things would be a little bit better. One thing that killed the SoCal indie scene is MMA. Local MMA killed the SoCal wrestling scene. I mean, other than PWG does real well, but I feel bad for some of the other indies because of what MMA did. And I'm not saying MMA is bad. I like watching MMA just as much as any of the other guys, but it did kill the wrestling scene here in SoCal anyway. What's it going to take for them to? I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take for the SoCal wrestling scene to be back to where it used to be. So I remember when everyone wanted to come here. Now that's not the case anymore.
East Coast now.
It's the East Coast now.
East Coast. Then again, East Coast has always been stronger than.
And you know what? Like my friend who runs, he used to run 2CW Wrestling, the Strangler Steve King, one of my former commentary partners. He's the booker at 2CW. They have like 1,000, 2,000 people every time they run. East Coast is a little different than the West Coast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when you went to Arizona. What was the flavor out there?
Oh, they do a show every week, and they have about 300 people at every show every week.
And
And
that's
that's
good.
a Lucha Libre show. Then again, I think it comes down to the fact that here in
Because it's
SoCal,
fucking Arizona.
yeah, there's nothing to do out there.
Right.
You want somewhere where they see, you're like, Walgreens is closed, I'll just go to this lucha show.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
Walgreens is open 24 hours. In Arizona, because I lived in Arizona and Phoenix, and there was shit to do but go to the mall.
Oh,
It's
good.
hot.
You just touched it
There's
there.
air conditioning over there. Go to the movies.
I just remember going to see the Cardinals and the Niners, and all I did was go to Walgreens. Because I'm like, this place sucks, dude.
It does.
Oh wow.
Damn, I was planning on moving out there.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I wish we'd see some of that tradition back.
How many companies did you work for?
I work for MPW. I work for Bill, and then recently, the last thing I did before I didn't, not calling it quits, but taking a break, is working for Red's organization, HQ Pro Wrestling, which unfortunately lasted only one show, but I still had a good time. That's funny because I don't know how Red was able to get this, but it was at a biker bar.
Oh my goodness.
It was at a biker bar, and yeah, I was little.
That was a bit intense, but fun.
Yeah, it was fun. A little challenging, but it was fun.
Is there anybody on the indie scene right now that you've seen that maybe isn't signed that you like?
There are a lot of guys I like. Ryan Taylor, Peter Avalon's another one I like. I mean,
yeah.
Peter's unfortunately is on the smaller side, but he's got such great personality. I don't see why he's not getting any more bookings out of the state, honestly. Another guy I personally like, but they don't. A lot of the organizations don't like 400+ pound guys anymore. It's T-Rex. T-Rex.
Yeah.
I mean, how many 400+ pound guys do you see doing a standing moonsault?
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, the guys.
Was he at that show at the FCW?
He was
show
at
or
FCW, which is Brother King, he did the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the
He-
match of the night.
But he's
No, but he's still.
Yeah, no, but he goes for a big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and he's a great talent, but he should be, with his talent, he should be in a higher level of
that's
wrestling.
the thing. You don't see big guys either in WWE. Like, what happens to all the fat guys? You know, we still need that.
That's what stand out a lot. But now they want Chippendale dancers in there. So.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess Rusev would be the only big guy.
Oh yeah, Rusev, he's from here too, right?
Yeah, he's
Yeah, training at Knox Pro.
Knox
Knox
Pro?
Pro Wrestling, yeah.
a Clippers
Rikishi's,
fan.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right. We don't have no
No, there's
400 plat.
No,
Yeah,
there aren't
guys
that many.
anymore.
They only
No.
want bodybuilders.
Remember
Which is
No.
cool.
Big Daddy V?
Yeah, Big Daddy.
Oh,
B.
yeah.
If you remember back in the 80s and 90s, I think who will stand out the most? Lex Luger, Dingo Warrior, Ultimate Warrior.
Tugboat,
Right.
dude. That's who stood out.
King Kong Bundy
King
to
Kong
me.
Bundy, the One Man Gang, all those.
One man
guys.
get Akeem.
Yeah.
And when he turned into Akeem.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Did you ever want to become a wrestler?
Myself, I kind of wanted to, but I didn't think I was athletic enough back then. And so I never pursued that aspect of it. But I like doing play-by-play announcing.
Yeah.
And I had good times doing play-by-play. With Steve King, with the late Zoogs Rift, another character. He was a character. And then with Under Pressure from EWF, great guy.
Since he might be doing some play-by-play right here, right?
Hopefully.
What advice would you?
Hopefully.
What advice would you give him?
My advice, one of pet peeves is that keep up with the business. Try to learn the names of all the holds and all the moves as much as possible. That's tough because this business is evolving, and I'm seeing things that I've never seen before.
Yeah, there's some moves where like, what can you call that?
Yeah, exactly.
The splash.
Now, what do you do in that situation though? When this goes to both of you guys, like, what would you do in that situation if you're calling a match and all of a sudden they come up with this move and you're like, alrighty, what the fuck?
Well, what I've done is I've said, holy shit, I've never seen that before. I'll say something like that, which I have many times.
Or you could be like Bobby Heenan. That's the flying jalapeno.
You know, I was watching old Gorilla Monsoon, man.
Yeah.
Bobby Heenan stuff just to like practice in my head. Yeah, dude, it's so hilarious.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
But he was probably, I have to admit, he was the best.
He wasn't as good as Dusty Rhodes, though.
Look, Gorilla and Bobby were great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why does Tito always come out holding a chihuahua? And
Yeah.
that's a more hat, you know?
Bobby was just
He was off the wall.
perfect comedic timing. And then
Absolutely.
Gorilla Monster. They just made a good team.
They made an awesome
It's
team.
just like Jerry the King Lawler and JR. You
JR,
can't,
absolutely.
the King's not the same.
Or like Joey Styles.
Yeah, Joey Styles. Like Joey Styles.
Yeah. But yeah, my recent time with MPW, it was me, Under Pressure, and Lalo Gonzalez. Now, I don't know if Lalo's still in the business. I hope he is because I think he's talented. I think he's a super play-by-play announcer, color commentator, and super interviewer. I wish we could have done more shows together, and that's still one of my dreams is that we could do one more show together because I thought the three of us made a good team. I did the straight play-by-play guy. Under Pressure was the ghetto color commentator, and Lalo was a funny guy. Yeah.
Now, you were the play-by-play,
Yes.
and you're going to be play-by-play?
Yeah.
Or color?
No, not color, because for some reason...
You're not funny enough?
No, my color is way too...
Yeah.
How hard is it, like, when you don't have a part, like, when you do have a partner, but do you
Pretty
feel like
much
you
have to
can't
kick.
click?
Yeah.
Like you're carrying him?
You have to click. And I have a story about that because when I did one of Bill's shows, I had a lot of guys come and do commentary with me per match. The best guy I did commentary with was the Strangler, Steve King.
All right.
One guy I did, whose name I will not mention, he was so blown up from his match.
Which you should mention.
Was it Butcher?
Was it Butcher?
There's my chop back at you, buddy.
You're going to get a real one later.
Uh-oh. But he was so blown up from his match, he was doing 1 minute commentary, and then he took off.
Wow.
I still have video of that somewhere. And I couldn't control my. It was hard for me to control my laughter, but I maintained composure. But no, it depends because not all guys, not all workers are good color commentators.
Right.
They're not. They might be good guys behind the stick, doing promos. They're not all good color commentators. That's very few.
Right.
And that comes with just just winging it to see who you mesh with.
Let me just throw this out there. I was watching Monday Night Raw last night, and you know who I think
That show's still going?
Yeah, it's still going.
I ignored it.
You completely ignored it.
But you know what? Just to throw it out there, because we're talking about color commentary.
Right.
I don't know if did anybody watch Raw last night?
I watched a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know who has a future, I think, in color comment? Kevin Owens.
Oh, Kevin Owens is great.
It's great in the mic.
But no, I'm just saying, like, he was doing the match, and I'm like, this guy's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He is.
I can't say he's Bobby the Brain level, but I could see him getting to that level.
I mean, I loved his stuff in the Indies.
Right.
I thought he was funny.
His promos are so.
They are awesome. They are.
He knows how to make that plead, like
Right.
desperate.
Yes.
and then I think once again it goes back to what we said earlier. They're letting him be himself.
Yes.
They're not scripting him, and it's coming off, and the fans are. I mean, you saw him yesterday. If you watched last night, you could see the fans getting behind him, and that's why I always say he's the next. I think he's the next big star.
I
for
agree.
them.
Next big heel, next big star.
Face. Once he turns face, I think the place is gonna go nuts.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason I say that is
Absolutely.
because I think I always say this: every wrestler, when you're a big name, like the eras, like Hogan, Austin, Rock, and well, for me the three eras is Hogan, Austin, and Cena. But like Hogan he connected with the kids. He was
Yes.
a big superhero, comic
Right.
book hero. Austin because he was the guy that was employed that always got screwed over by the boss, and how many guys didn't want to beat up their teacher or
their boss,
or
yeah.
their boss at the
Right.
time. And then you look at Cena, he was at the time when that was in style, that whole Eminem and
Yeah.
so people connected. And I think now and Daniel Bryan, people connected with Bryan
Because
because
he's
of the
the
whole
underdog.
same thing. Yeah, how
Right.
many people don't feel like underdogs at work? So I think with Kevin Owens, you see a big guy like myself with the belly doing all these freaking moves, can talk on the mic.
Yes.
I'm like, I think he's the one that people are gonna connect with over. I think the days of the Roman Reigns body build is
They should give
over.
him a female valet, and he treats her like shit.
Yeah.
That would be.
That would
like
be.
a Macho Man kind of.
Yeah.
That is so brutal, isn't
Ed
it?
is, give him
That
Thunder
work.
Rosa.
I know. You know what? I would pay to see that.
Now then Ed will jump the guardrail.
Thunder Rosa will be kicking his ass.
Yeah, should be kicking my ass again.
But you're right. But Kevin Owens is extreme.
Kevin Owens.
He was trained by Jean-Pierre Lafitte.
Now how do you know when you click when you're on call it, doing the play-by-play?
Yeah, you click once you know the guy. It's hard for me to describe, but I'll try to as best as I can. When you know that you're feeding off each
Take
other,
notes.
when you're feeding off each other, especially if it's a heel color commentator, if he's talking shit and doing that's all right, doing the comedic stuff like he's supposed to be doing, then and he doesn't interrupt you, and he lets you do your thing play by play, that's how you know you click. Because one time, another wrestler, I'm not going to name his name.
Oh, come
But
on.
you should. But you should.
But you
Shit,
should.
but I
But
should.
But you should.
Well, I will.
But
You know what?
should.
I will
But you
because
should.
he is a friend of mine. At the time, I won't give you his real name, but his in-ring name was Dick Danger. I don't know if any of you remember it.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Dick Danger?
Dick Danger.
Dick Danger.
He's
Dick
not the
Danger.
one that did the Dick Bottom a couple weeks
No,
ago.
no.
Okay.
That's all right.
Oh,
Oh, my God. I remember that. Now, that's stupid. That's stupid. But we were talking about the penis thing earlier. That's stupid.
Roy rewinded that thing about he had it on loop. Roy had it on it. Roy had it on an
I have to look it
iPad.
up.
You have to look it up. It's on his screen. Let me go back.
But but talk about Dick Danger. He was great on the mic. Don't get me wrong. Great promo guy. Funny guy. Like I said, not all great guys that could cut good promos can be good color commentators. He kept interrupting me. And I couldn't do my job as well because he kept interrupting me thinking that it was funny to do that. He was doing his gimmick.
Right.
I get it, but it didn't work.
How would you rate me and Butcher? Just from seeing us and podcasting now.
You guys are great together.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
Yeah, no,
I'm the one that carries the show. It's not Dylan. I'm sorry.
But he's getting kicked out soon.
yeah.
I'm
This-
fighting the lawsuit.
Well, like I said, I'm glad that there's something like this podcast, because didn't have this in 1999, 2001.
No, and right now with the whole podcast thing, what people are doing, I think it's great. Even wrestlers that are retired. I mean, what's his name? Stone Cold has his podcast. but that's
Yeah.
through WWE.
Right.
But you had Stone Cold, you had Rowdy at the time,
Roddy Piper at the time. Yeah.
Jericho.
Jericho, but it's
Drink it in.
I would put it
We
on.
have Vince Russo.
Yeah,
Vince
yeah,
Russo?
Vince.
Oh,
But
that's right.
Vince will record it from his house, from his little office, toy office.
And Sean Toussaint.
And Sean Toussaint in this little pool, which you have to be in. But
That's interesting.
I
Wow.
went in.
have you heard of it? Have you seen it?
I've seen pictures of it. Yeah.
Come on, why don't you just come over here and we'll have some good Korean barbecue?
Hey, Sean, thanks for fucking up my video, dude.
Oh,
Thank you.
Now you know who was the man behind the.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
Yeah, that was Sean.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
This guy's doing a little promo at UEW this past week is Saturday, right?
Yeah,
Saturday?
yeah.
And I'm like, dude, they're talking, and I just hear.
You couldn't hear him anymore.
I'm like,
Oh,
dude,
my
who's really
goodness.
recording the.
He was having high
Wow.
blood pressure.
Wow.
Yeah, because they were
I thought it was Mil Máscaras there walking to the ring.
Oh, God. I just let him have it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, maybe he won't sign my mask. I have a fan question for you.
Yeah.
And it is, did you ever see Pro Wrestling This Week with Joe Pedicino? And it used to show all the territories in a 16-minute format.
I actually love that show.
Did
It was Joe Pedicino and Gordon Solie.
Oh, okay.
Gordon Solie, one of the greatest wrestling play-by-play guys of all time. Yes, it was a great show. Because back then
That
you
was
only
I didn't mean to interrupt, but that was in the Oregon.
Georgia, I believe.
Was it Oregon or Georgia?
No, I believe it was Georgia because Joe Pedicino is from Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's interesting about that is because back then you didn't have a lot. I couldn't see Japanese wrestling from local channels or cable. It wasn't there, or any of the other ones like Central States Wrestling. You'd have to live in the Central States to watch Central States Wrestling. So that was a good show because I got to keep up with the business, and I was still a mark. I didn't understand kayfabe at the time, so I believed in all that.
Now, have you seen Thunder Rosa in action?
I have.
Do you like her?
I think she's a good talent. Yeah.
1 year in the business?
Yeah.
1 year.
Just 1 year. Oh wow.
1
Okay.
year?
Who asked that question?
Oh, that was from our loyal listener, Carlos.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Lucha Underground Carlos, that's what I call him.
Oh.
Oh wow. Okay. Thank you, Carlos.
You'll know. You don't know, but you'll know.
Is it one of those people that say hi to me and I have no idea? who they are?
Probably. I'm pretty sure they know who you
That's
are.
becoming famous.
That's like everybody. Like, I'm like, hi, Ed. I'm like,
Well, Pro Wrestling This Week. I think some of it's still on YouTube. Yeah.
Now, do you plan on calling any more matches?
I never say never. Right now, no. But I'll never say never. If the right opportunity comes, I'll be more happy to do it.
Do you miss it?
I do. Some things I miss. I miss, the biggest thing I miss is the boys.
Yeah.
People like Dan Farron, Vandal Drummond, Paul, Barry. I miss all those guys. Yeah.
I know they're making a big comeback this June 3rd.
Correct, yes.
June 3rd, they're coming
Yeah.
back, which I'm very happy.
Yeah.
But I just wish, guys, LA if you can. But, it's always in the valley. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get it.
And because a lot of indie wrestling at the time was either in the Valley or Riverside.
Sun Valley as well. Sun Valley
Yeah,
was really
yeah.
hitting hard there
Yeah,
at the time.
and the Inland Empire.
Mhm.
Not a lot around here. Maybe a
Yeah.
few in Orange County, but not a lot.
Road trip. I know, right? You want to...
Let's go.
You wanna do the
road trip? Do the road trip?
He'll be riding with
Oh, I know.
Mariachi.
Yeah, he'll be right with Mariachi and Thunder
Right.
Rosa. And
But I
Diamonds
am
here.
hey,
glad
where's
to
June 3rd? What's going on June 3rd?
The return of Millennium Pro Wrestling.
Oh, really?
As a matter of
Simi
fact,
Valley.
I
Yeah.
want
Are you
to
going to
do
be a part of there?
I haven't been asked to, but maybe if they ask me, maybe.
Would you call Butcher's match?
Oh,
I
sure.
think we did.
I have called Butcher.
Yeah,
And you're
Yeah.
still alive?
I'm still alive. Well, I remember when he was part of a group.
Wait. Did you watch it or were you just like putting your head
No,
down? and-
I watched it. It was you and what's his name?
That's how bad it was. He can't remember. Who it was.
No. Who was your partner at the time?
It was Haynes.
Haynes. That's right.
Or BMI.
BMI.
Big Meat Incorporated.
Yeah, it was funny because your manager Barry, made a joke about that, saying BMI actually because Barry's a big guy.
Yeah.
It stands for Body Mass Index. Barry actually said that as a joke. I said, okay.
You know what? Were you a part of? Was this MPW with the whole Ryan Katz and Homo Angel? What's his
Oh, with the...
Oh, the hardcore homo they call
hardcore homo?
Angel.
When they had that little splits in the ring. Remember the video you showed me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Were you part of that show?
I was part of that show.
How was it?
I was.
The video shows one thing, and then
Well, there's some things I know. I mean, I have nothing against Ryan Katz. I personally like Ryan. I don't always agree with his style of wrestling or his style of booking, but I like him personally. The one mistake he made was trying to take down Cincinnati Red. That was a mistake. I've known Red for a long time. I've actually seen him literally beat up some guys.
Damn.
Yeah, you don't. That was the one mistake he never should have made, is try to take Cincinnati Red down.
I remember when I was so green. I remember when I met Red. I was like, oh goodness, this big redhead here, you know. And then he comes that bat with the barbed wire, and I'm like, he's like, it's all good, don't worry, just be, it's all good. I'm like, all right, it's cool, man. All right, I'm all good hands with him. Nicest guy ever, though.
No, he is. He's a
I
soft-spoken
drank with
guy.
him a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because I know.
AWS, yeah.
No,
Come on, I did.
He was helping out Bart.
Yeah,
he
he was
was.
always there.
He was
Yeah.
helping out
Yeah.
Bart, and I saw videos, and I'm like, and then when I saw him, I was excited to see him, and it was Bill Anderson was there too, and that was like, it was one of those grill matches that he had, events, women's tournament.
Right.
But Red, I mean, that's
Red-
it's just too soon.
Red was always cool.
He was a great guy. One of my best friends ever in this business.
You used to invite him to your house for
Yes,
barbecue. And I
yes,
remember you
yes.
invited me a couple of times,
right,
but
right.
I never went.
I know, right.
He
Yeah.
never goes anywhere. Though.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. But yeah, I always enjoyed Red's company. We learned a lot from each other. But back to that MPW show with Ryan. Yeah, there was a lot of unprofessionalism that day. That, you know, one of the things I didn't like.
I remember Facebook was blowing up at the end. Everybody was throwing comments like, "Well, that was interesting."
Yeah.
You know?
I wish that night never happened the way it did, but you know, it is what it was. It was what it was, and I think Ryan's learned from that situation. I hope he has. Now he's working for WWE.
Surprisingly,
really well.
Butcher was in a battle royal that day too.
Who?
You were in a battle royal that
No,
day.
he was in the Battle Royal the first MPW show. This was
first
the
one.
second one.
Yeah, because the whole belt.
They should do like a bushwhacker Luke.
You walked in there, walked off.
No, he was in there for a little bit.
So gonna chop his ass at the end of the show.
All right, he was in there instead of
Like 2 minutes.
5 seconds. He was in there 30.
No, he was in there for a little bit longer than that. But and who ended up winning that? The big female won that. I can't remember.
Logan won for the maximum belt.
Oh, the belt, yeah. But I'm talking about the first Battle Royal that you were in.
Oh yes, it was Becca.
Becca, that's
Becca,
right.
she trained with us over at Fitbit.
Right. Big muscular woman. Wow.
Yeah.
She was
huge.
She was.
She was a real big woman.
Like, you better make me come type. Like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
I brought her cherry coke. I mean, so
Right.
that was her thing. But she was real sweet. I did saw her by my job last time.
Oh, did you?
She had an interview with E! Entertainment.
Oh, did she? Okay.
And I was trying to get her attention, but the glass was so thick. I was like, Becca.
Oh, right.
But she did her thing. But
Yeah.
I don't know what she's doing. She was trained by Hardy Race.
Wow.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah.
That's yeah. She was pretty good in the ring.
Yeah.
I was
think
hoping to see-
She would have been really great in the WWE.
I totally agree with that.
She would have been awesome.
Yeah, kind of like Beth Phoenix.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
stronger.
actually, she's good friends with Beth Phoenix.
Oh, is she?
Yeah,
Okay.
she is.
Oh, wow.
I mean, she shared some stories with us, and it was pretty cool.
Right.
And what are you doing behind me?
Oh, you're getting kicked out.
Uh-oh.
You're getting kicked out again.
Uh-oh.
He gets me nervous. He
Getting
gets
kicked out
this
again.
little
Right.
weird moodness.
Right.
With that being said, let me ask real quick before we wrap up. If MPW calls you tomorrow, would you call the match?
Absolutely.
If they
I would totally do it.
if they tell you Butcher's gonna be your color commentator?
I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, no, I would do it. I think he'd be great.
You know what? I did that once, and I thank Joey Chaos for this because he was like, "Why don't you do it here at Santino's?" And I'm like, "Okay, I've seen it before how they did it there," and I'm like, "You know what? I'm gonna do it." It's tough.
Is that when the feed just came off?
No, but it was right. You know, you gotta call. I remember Joey telling me, just call it like how you see it. Call it like
Exactly.
how you see it. Call it like how you see it.
Right.
And just not have dead air.
Yeah.
And it's work.
It is a lot of work.
It's work. It's not like easy. It's like right here. It's more kind of chill. But when you're doing it live with the audience,
Right.
it's a different feel.
Oh, it really is, but it's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Once
it's a
you
lot
get
of fun.
the hang of it, it's a lot of fun.
And especially if you have the right partner too. So
Absolutely.
it's gotta click.
Absolutely.
No pressure, Ed.
No,
No
you know what?
pressure.
I like it.
It's me. I've winged everything in life too, and it's turned out all right.
I mean, if you want to practice with him,
I
have the butcher and.
Let's practice.
Oh yeah, you could have him wrestle him, chop his ass.
I tell you what.
Well, before we announce that, I have some people on Facebook anticipating this announcement for the signing on Friday.
Okay.
So I'm going to announce it
Okay.
this Friday night,
The butcher.
7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Lucha Underground proudly presents, and the Wrestling Guy Store proudly presents Rey Mysterio from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. this Friday night. And all the information will be up within
Rey
an
Mysterio
hour.
Senior?
Rey Mysterio Jr. Lucha Underground wrestler Rey Mysterio Jr., former WWE champion, World Heavyweight Champion,
right?
Mr. 619, Rey Mysterio, will be here.
The one that Kevin Nash threw against the trailer.
Yes.
That
And
one,
Big
yeah.
Show
That was
swung into the turnbuckle.
You know, he had to start out here.
Yeah.
Actually, if Dan Farron remembers him, booking him when he was still in junior high school. I'm not joking about that.
Same height, right?
Same height.
Same height.
Same height.
Rey Mysterio will be here. Information will be on the website, WrestlingGuyStore.com, our Facebook, Wrestling Guy Store, and Instagram within an hour. So there you go. That's the big signing for this Friday. I want to thank Lucha Underground for setting it up, and I think that will probably be the biggest signing in Wrestling Guy
Yeah, that should be great.
history for now. Yeah, one person for Butcher.
Yeah, more than one.
Go ahead now. Give us the card.
I want to let you give us a card for old time's sake. It's MPW's returning match. So here's the.
Sure.
And where's this located?
He's going to announce it right now.
It doesn't have the.
Yeah, it's in the bottom.
Is it?
Oh, it doesn't have the participant, but I mean, it's got the photos there.
Okay. So June 3rd, the return of Millennium Pro Wrestling. You will see Brawling Bo Cooper, Logan X, and the Hell Kid. Be there. Yeah.
I believe they have the address there too, right?
Right. It's in CB. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to put my shades out because I'm getting so freaking old I can't read now. 165 Poindexter Avenue, Moore Park, California 93021. Doors open at 7 o'clock. Bell time 7:30. Ding ding ding.
Ding ding ding.
And Shownuff's going to be there.
And show up.
Shonuff. That's right. That was
Shonuff,
Shonuff.
Logan.
Right.
And that's Rollin' Bo Cooper.
Yep. Brawling Bo Cooper.
That's the return. So I mean, if you've never been to Millennium Pro Wrestling, now's your chance.
Yeah. Now's your chance. Check it out.
Wow, only $10 for an adult?
Yeah, that's really very reasonable.
Yeah, it's a very reasonable price. You know, one thing I would like to see back in this scene is weekly shows, like the way my friend John Ian used to do with Mach 1 Pro Wrestling. He ran weekly shows, and it was reasonably priced, $5. I would like to see something like that again.
Arizona does it, actually. Arizona Pro Wrestling, I think.
That is it.
And then they have a Lucha Libre Por out there. And so I think the Arizona one runs every...
The other one's bi-weekly. Por is bi-weekly.
bi-weekly.
Oh, is that
and
right?
then, no, Por is every week.
Is it every
And I
week?
think the Arizona Pro is bi-weekly.
Oh, wow.
But it's still pretty... Like I said, they draw 200 to 300 people.
Every soul
That's,
has-
I mean, that's amazing. I remember when in Anaheim, WPW, when they ran.
And they're actually
WPW is actually
coming back.
Yeah.
This if
28th.
somebody can get us
It's on
the
the
card.
It's on the 28th.
The 28th, and it features Cholo
And Mariachi
and
Loco.
Mariachi Loco.
Oh, very
Which-
good.
yeah.
Very good.
You got a new shirt, right?
Yes. You want to show it off?
What's your? You have it. It's behind you.
Oh my goodness. That is
Oh, is that
a local shirt.
very much?
There you go. Local style, Looney Tune.
And what do you got on right here?
Oh, I showed it already.
Everybody shut it off.
I love you, Justin, but come on.
Fuck Justin.
Ah,
I was about to pass his ass.
And then UIPW also had the show this Saturday night
the
also. And I'm not sure on the card. I don't have it with me, but UIPW had the show this week in Montebello. And then
Which my girl's gonna be
WPW,
at.
right? In Anaheim this
Yes.
Saturday. Oh, yes. UIPW has Thunder Rosa, features Thunder Rosa. And then WPW features Cholo and Mariachi Loco this Saturday. I want to thank our guests.
Friday's PWG.
Oh,
Jeff
Friday's
Cobb.
PWG, but nobody's
Oh,
going to that because
I
Rey
am.
Mysterio will be here. So shut up.
But
But I want to
peeps.
thank our guest, Mr. Larry Park,
Thank you
for joining us today.
I had a lot of fun.
Oh, I love the stories.
Actually, yeah, it's very fun. All the
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah,
Thank you.
And I think you still got more to cover up there too. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
we'll have to do part 2.
I'd love to be back.
Yeah, we'll do
You know what
part
I would
2.
love? I would love to have you and Logan here as well. You know?
Oh, yeah.
And even
Yeah.
Dan. You know, that'd be awesome to have the MPW guys here. And have,
Yeah, it was crazy hearing the road stories, all that stuff. You know, it's
yeah. Oh my God, there's just so much out there. And then if you have to talk to Dan, Dan will give you more. Logan will give you more.
Oh, yeah. Dan's got
it's
more stories than I do.
It's just like the hidden stuff back in the days. You know?
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Well,
Yeah.
make sure you guys check out WPW, UIPW, Millennium Pro Wrestling, when it
PWG.
returns. And make sure you guys are here Friday nights. Forget PWG. Come over here and meet Rey Mysterio Friday night.
I want to ask you, are you going to have any sales with your merchandise that week?
If we have any
For-
discounts, any.
Well, Sunday we will have, this Saturday and Sunday we will have a weekend sale for, what's the pay-per-view called? Jesus. Extreme Rules. We'll have an
Extreme
Extreme
Rules.
Rules sale this weekend, so be on the lookout for that. And then Rey
John
Mysterio,
Cena
you'll
stuff
see.
on sale.
Oh, John Cena stuff.
And Roman Reigns.
And Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns.
Just in
someone-
case if you don't know the address, Wrestling Guy Store is located 6085 State Street in the city of Huntington Park, California, 90255.
And the messengers are blowing up, so that means a lot of people just saw the announcement of Rey Mysterio. That's a good thing. But for all of us here at the Wrestling Guy Podcast, I want to thank our guest one more time, Mr. Larry Park.
Thank you.
Ed, thank you for, what are we calling you now? Drunk Ed?
We're sober.
Sober
today.
Ed today.
I thought it was pizza.
Overage.
I thought it was Pizza Slut.
Pizza Slut Ed.
Pizza.
He
Wow.
doesn't bring us no damn pizza.
I know.
Yeah.
Or
tacos.
or dozen
Or tacos.
tacos.
Wow.
Engineer Roy, who's still suing me, and I guess the butcher.
Yeah, I still don't like
Thank you. I don't like
Uh-oh.
you either.
I know.
For all of us here at the Wrestling Guy Podcast, we're out of here.
We missed you, Oscar.
Larry, you were bringing us a Korean barbecue. What happened?
Well, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's go.
We'll do it
Let's start
sometime.
chopping it right now. All right, let's
Absolutely.
do it.